It's me, Ronald the Comatose, and I'm making a game called Beast Socket, which is an action RPG where you help your friends annoy your enemies. It's also a work in progress, so that weird legless gopher thing won't always be the player. I'm heavily inspired by Super Nintendo games, but unlike most 2D RPGs, I decided to make my game at least 50% better by adding a third dimension, and going from 2D to fake 3D.
Wow.
Wow, fake 3D.
It's pretty cool, I guess.
But before we delve any deeper into this masterpiece, first let's meet the team behind it. The programmer, me. The artist, me. The writer, me. Media manager, me. Composer. I don't actually have a composer yet, or any sound effects at all for that matter. But enough jibber jabber, let's get back to some game design. When I compare the masterpieces of old to my unfinished buggy game and ask myself, is my game as good as these? The obvious answer is,
I don't know. I just don't.
But the real question is, will it make money? So the next question I ask myself is, which feature can I add to get the most cash? Good graphics? A big open world? I think the answer is pretty obvious. That's right, this game needs dinosaurs. With procedural animations and 6 legs. There is a good reason for this. Dinosaurs are cool, and procedural animations in a pixel art game look pretty unique. So a procedurally animated dinosaur should make my game stand out visually. Now if I was just making a typical pixel art frame by frame dinosaur, it probably wouldn't have any noticeable effect on sales. But if I make a really original looking dinosaur, there probably will be a boost. So how do you make a procedurally animated dinosaur? You ever play an old RPG where you have a whole group of weirdos who follow you in your every footstep? You know, like this one? Do you remember it? Do you? Do you? Well, what if I take that same process to follow the leader and then glue everybody together like a giant centipede? That sounds like a dinosaur, right? Right? Well, strap in. It's time for some techno babble. Step 1. I made a group of balls to play follow the leader. Snake! Now we add some smoother collisions so they won't jerk around all over the terrain so much. Snaker! Now we reduce the max bend.
Oh no!
Now we've set a max amount of flexibility between each joint. Snake hiss! Now for some feet. I'm making a dinosaur, not a snake, dang it. But before we put the feet on our 3D-ish model, let's first take a look at this 2D version, cause this is gonna get complicated.
Now listen, Grapehead. I'll explain it so even you can understand it.
See the red and white flashing circles at the bottom? That is where the foot would be if it had just finished taking a step. If the foot's current position gets too far from the end step position, we initiate the step. Otherwise, the foot stays still. So see, the foot is still, but it's getting farther from destination. Now step. Hold still, hold, hold, now step. Hold, now step. Now let's put this same effect onto our 3D pink ball snake. Foot placement, done. Now, at this point, the old parade of balls isn't really doing it for me anymore. It's time for some super advanced stuff. It's time for some polygons. Nice. It looks just like a ghost with a flag on his head. Let's give him some proper textures. Alright, now he's got a belly texture and a back texture and is sorta looking like an animal. All he needs now is his feet back, and maybe a head. A head might be cool. Look at that face. It's 16 polygons of pure beauty.
You look a little bit like a rat with glasses.
So now I just need to finish up the legs, which are currently just feet and no knees. This is actually a little tricky because I don't want to have to manually place every knee, so I'm going to have to use some fancy stuff called the law of cosines. Basically, I'll already have the foot and hip position defined, so all I have to do is find the cosine of the hip angle and get a 2D knee position, which can then be translated into a 3D coordinate. So let's do that on our dinosaur.
Oh no!
And that looks completely freaky. Let's give him some actual legs instead of 2D sticks. Yeah, that's a little better, but let's give his legs some proper textures, and while we're at it, add a few body and face details for some extra personality.
Wow. Wow.
Now we're getting somewhere. Dang, he's starting to look fine. Let's have him go for a swim.
What's going on?
This is terrible.
Okay, let's fix the water, and just to make him look extra fine, let's reduce his color palette, disable the lighting, and make him look more pixel arty. Brace yourselves, here comes the climax of the video. Are you ready?
Wow.
I might be biased, but I think that's the coolest 6-legged procedurally animated lizard in a pixel art game I've ever seen. So yeah, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, you can consider helping my subscriber count, which is currently at 0. Let's work together and change that subscriber count to a 1. Can I get 1 subscriber? I'd ask for 2, but let's not get too unrealistic here. Eat your vegetables.